Hook's powerful arcana or engaging story ho proper story, or Oscar proper and ho I price disasters for a living. But I never saw the storm coming for my own family, until my brother put his 2 children into a stranger's cab and vanished onto a cruise ship. My name is Vanessa Kirkland. I'm 34 years old, and I calculate risk at a firm in Atlanta. For 3 decades, I was my family's safety net. I paid bills nobody asked me to pay, hosted holidays nobody thanked me for, and gave up my privacy without ever being asked. My brother Nathaniel was the golden child, charming and reckless, because 4 hands always caught him before he could fall. And 2 of them were always mine. I bought a house on Birchwood Lane at 28 after years of saving. Within a year, it stopped being mine in any way that mattered. My mother got a key for emergencies. Nathaniel copied it for convenience. My guest room became the grandkids' room. My weekends became scheduled without my consent. Last Thanksgiving, 5 relatives moved in for 9 days over a fake plumbing excuse. And when I finally asked for my house back, my mother said a house that size was made for sharing. And everyone laughed like it was nothing. That night, standing in my own kitchen holding a pan I had bought, I realized I did not own that house in any way that counted. So quietly, without telling anyone, I sold it that spring to a retired Marine colonel named Marcus Whitfield. I moved into a condo across town and told my family it was under repair. Nobody checked. You do not inspect something you assume will always be there. In June, Nathaniel called with the news that he and his wife had booked a non-refundable anniversary cruise and casually informed me I would obviously take his kids, Harper, 9, and Miles, 6. For the first time in my life, I said no. Not a soft no, a real one, in writing, 3 separate times, with dates attached. His only reply was a thumbs-up emoji. And then silence. On July 12th, during a violent storm, Nathaniel put his children into a cash cab and sent them to my old address, texting me only after the cab had already pulled away, then switching his phone to airplane mode and boarding his ship. The children arrived soaked and terrified at a stranger's door, a house they didn't know I no longer owned. Colonel Whitfield opened the door, dried them off, tried every phone number he had, and when nothing worked, calmly called the police. No panic, just procedure. By the time I finally checked my phone, it had been silenced in a drawer for hours. I rushed to the house I used to call home, and my niece and nephew ran into my arms while a detective asked if I had agreed to watch them that day. I could have lied. One soft yes would have made the entire problem disappear. Instead, I told the truth. I had refused 3 times in writing. That single sentence changed everything. Nathaniel was arrested the moment his flight landed, charged with child endangerment. My family exploded with rage, not at him, but at me. They accused me of secretly selling the house and having my own brother arrested. 84 messages flooded the family group chat that night, and not one of them asked if the children were okay. Days later, my mother invited me to tea, where a lawyer's affidavit was already waiting on the table. It claimed I had secretly agreed to babysit, a lie designed to erase Nathaniel's charges by pinning the blame on me instead. Signing it meant swearing under oath to something false, a felony for me, in exchange for a misdemeanor disappearing for him. For 1 weak moment, I almost signed it, out of 30 years of habit. Then I remembered exactly what he had done, and exactly what it would cost me to lie for him. At a full family meeting, they staged old photo albums and guilt trips to break me down. I stayed calm. I read my texts aloud, dates and all, proof that I had refused before any of this happened. My mother told me if I walked out that door, I was done. No more Sundays, no more family. I walked out anyway. The next morning, I confirmed my statement to the district attorney, calmly and without malice. I told them I wasn't there to bury my brother, only to refuse to lie for him. Nathaniel eventually pled guilty to a lesser charge, probation, parenting classes, community service. He kept custody, and the children are safe today. Quietly, without telling my parents, I moved part of the money from that house sale into education funds for Harper and Miles, protected from ever becoming family leverage again. Now, most Sunday mornings, I sit on the porch of my old house, drinking coffee with Colonel Whitfield, a man who never asks for thanks. My office door now reads Director of Risk, and the first thing I hung on my wall wasn't from my old life at all. It was a child's crayon drawing of a porch in the rain, with someone holding an umbrella over 2 smaller ones. I spent 34 years believing that love meant catching everyone who fell. What I learned the hard way is that saying no, clearly and just once, can be the most loving thing you ever do, for them and for yourself. If someone in your life treats your no as an invitation to keep pushing, let this be your sign to stop negotiating.